Okay, so let's start, right? Uh, Now, there've been lots of talks in terms of how customer engagement is primary, how customer experience is the only differentiator for brands, and so on and so forth. And obviously, when it comes to customer engagement, it's all about the channels, right? Where do the brands meet the customers? And brands, very nicely state that we need to be there where the customers are. And it seems customers are in droves in a channel called Instagram, right? So what's your first thoughts in terms of the popularity of this platform called Instagram? Is it growing? Is it waning? Is it status quo? Let me start with you, Kripa.
Right. So Instagram has around 1.4 active monthly users. Beyond that, let's say if you want to reach out to a brand, you might not know their email ID or a WhatsApp number, but it takes 3 clicks for you to go to Instagram, open, search for them, and hit that message button. And also, Instagram has always been a very popular social media channel, but lately, since the whole DM aspect of Instagram has gotten so popular, right, businesses are actually realizing that Instagram is also a very important channel for them to reach out to their customers.
The reason why I'm coming to you second, despite the fact that Instagram is from the family, is do you echo what Kripa just said? And what exactly is Instagram in terms of a client engagement lever?
Yeah, so I definitely echo what Kripa just said. And we know that there are more than 1 billion messages per week which people are exchanging with the brands on Instagram specifically. And more than 90% of these people who are there on Instagram, they follow at least one brand and they want to talk to them. And this scenario has even picked up after COVID. After COVID, when we have done a survey, we have seen more than 70% of the people wants to talk over a social media channel, chat, rather than going on a deep call, staying on emails. They want to be there. They want their brand to be there where they are. So they are spending most of their time on social media channel, which is why the brands need to come here. And it is growing every day.
Okay.
The engagement on Instagram, there are newer aspects, newer products which are being launched. For example, now Reels has picked up. And there is a way now, we have launched last year Instagram messaging solution, where through this entry point, through Reels, through IG Lives, and through other organic ways, you can reach out to your users. The brands can now directly start a conversation with them. And this is being done because we know there is a lot of traction. There are a lot of people who want to talk to the brands on this platform.
Okay.
So I feel like it's growing, it's engaging, and we have come a long way from SMS, websites, to now social media where people want to know about the brand, see the reviews, see what influencers are saying, and then make a purchase as well.
Okay. Kripa, you want
Also,
to add
yeah,
something?
on the terms of engagement, right, what we notice is most of the brands, they leverage influencers, right? They leverage their ambassadors. These are the ways they actually get maximum engagement. And if you see, whether we're talking about influencers, most of them are popular on Instagram. Even ambassadors, right? They actually put up those posts. They do a lot of gamification. All of this is now happening on Instagram. So it is kind of becoming that one channel that brands want to be a part of. They want to have someone over there 24/7, right? And like Ekta just mentioned, with the help of the Instagram business messaging solution, let's say, okay, earlier, if you would go to a brand and send them a DM, you'd probably be waiting for their social media people, of course, office hours, you don't get a reply instantly. But now, with the Instagram business messaging solution, it's like having a chat bot on your DM. So now your customers, the minute they send you a message, instantly the bot takes care of it. You have product discovery, you can collect leads, you can do multiple use cases now all in real time. And the best part is you can handle scale. So earlier, imagine manually a social media person replying to each DM. And plus, what visibility does the brand get, right? But now with this solution, you get a good amount of data analytics. You can have, your CRMs integrated, all your leads, all the data points that you collect on Instagram can now flow directly to your CRM as well.
Okay. So how many of you folks are here on Instagram? You can boldly put your hands up. Thank you. Now, that just reminds me, how many of you watched the match yesterday? No one? No wonder you're looking so fresh. Oh, you did. Okay. Loved it? That gets me to the question. Did you see a spike in Instagram usage last night?
I still have to go back and see the numbers, but I feel yes.
You're confident. Wonderful. So now when it comes to Instagram, is it consumer to consumer, or is it consumer to brand, or is it also brand to brand?
That's a very interesting question. So, in today's world, we have both actually, consumer to consumer, wherein it has picked up because of the influencers, because of the creators which are building this ecosystem and communities over Instagram. Uh, People want to follow their creators, people want to learn from them. And just like we see, whenever we buy a product, we see a review, right? So now we want to go and see if I want to buy a book for my kid, I'll go and see a review about it from some influencers, from some mothers who have been blogging about it, who have been speaking about it. So, which is why the consumer to consumer has grown a lot. When I talk about consumer to brands, like I mentioned earlier, 90% of the people who are there on Instagram, they follow at least one brand. They want to see what content you are posting, what is the new product which you have launched. And whenever I want to actually go and be angry also, I feel like the best medium which people prefer to showcase that, okay, this brand was not good, I didn't have a good experience. We still go to social media. So it's important for a consumer and a brand to build this whole journey across the consumer life cycle, wherein we start the discovery of the product, we engage with them, we give them option to buy there, and also once they have bought it, really important to develop a engagement and a future conversation, reward programs, or even if there is a negative sentiment management. So it's important across the customer life cycle. Yeah.
So, just coming to doubling up on that, and you mentioned about, Kripa, you mentioned about Instagram being a CRM channel as well, as a CRM tool as well. I don't want to use the word tool loosely, but yeah, we get the drift. But then the point is, the way I look at Instagram now, it looks like as if the entire customer journey from explore to advocacy can be managed on Instagram. And I'm pretty close to a brand called Sugar, which of course relies a lot on Instagram as their chief engagement metric, right? So do you see an uptake in terms of brands going in for it? I mean,
Definitely. And it's funny that you took the name Sugar because we are working with them right now. They are in almost ready with their Instagram business messaging piece where they have a bot and they're using that bot for product discoverability. They're using their bot to collect leads from influencers who want to collaborate, for people who want to reach out to them and to showcase offers. So
okay. And you believe that that's a channel that every brand. So is it specific to a category, Ekta, that makes Instagram an extremely lucrative option, or do you think any category, any brand can do it?
So recently what we have seen, so like we mentioned, this solution we have launched last year. What we have seen is in this order, like fintech going first, they have been like a very, very quick adopters, wherein most of the fintech, when you say the biggest banks of India or maybe the startups in India, they have adopted Instagram messaging solution. Most of them, those who have a high ticket value, they are using it for lead generations. And those who have a lower ticket value, they directly go for buying the solution, providing a way to make the payment and get their products be sold there. But that being said, they were the early adopters. After that, we have seen D2C, retail, services, all kind of verticals who have come up and built this journey for their customers here. I'll take a few examples. For example, there's a country bean coffee. They have built this bot. They are giving or providing instant coffee solutions. They built a bot journey here, a messaging journey for their users. They were able to respond in 1 second to all the users, which obviously increased their CSAT scores, but that also resulted in 16% lift in their sales, which is absolutely amazing for the brand because they were able to develop a new revenue channel and tap on the customers who are currently there on Instagram. So there are brands in different verticals who are tapping on this opportunity, and they're building the end-to-end flow so that they don't see a churn. Just like when I go to buy something in a retail shop, when I do a billing, I see something, I explore it, and I want to buy it. There should be an option to buy it. If I don't have that option, I'll just keep it back again. Similarly, on Instagram, if you see a product, if I see an ad, which talks about a product, I like it. I click on it, and there is an option which the brand has built to buy it on Instagram itself. That reduces a lot of churn because everything is done on one platform, from discovery to payment.
Yeah. So talking about journeys, right? On Instagram, all the way from pre-purchase, purchase to post-purchase, all of these journeys now can be automated. And when we're talking about verticals like Ekta mentioned, yes, of course, BFSI, but you'd be surprised. Like I always assumed it would be more of the D2C guys, skincare, clothing, but we are even getting inquiries from services, right? Like we have Hansa Security, they are a brand that provides digital services.
Right.
They're actually using Instagram to collect more leads, right? Or even there are a couple of brands who get rejected on WhatsApp, right? Maybe because of gambling, tobacco, alcohol. So we had a similar brand called Stealth. It's an alcoholic beverage brand that unfortunately got rejected on WhatsApp. And they came to Instagram, and you'd not believe, within 1 week of going live with us, they had an 87% increase in total number of followers. They did a campaign where they tried to get new flavor options from the public itself, right? They got 24K submissions. And this scale that they got, right, their campaign went viral with the help of, they leveraged sponsored ads basically and tied it into the Instagram business messaging solution. So the scale they had of 420K messages in the span of 1 week would not be able to be managed purely based on, social media people replying.
Yeah.
This is where the Instagram solution bit comes into place. For product discovery to actually doing end-to-end purchase, right? You can even get a payment gateway integrated and post-purchase with support and all of those queries.
Right.
So-
Now, on a lighter note, WhatsApp's loss is Instagram's gain, but Meta has nothing to worry about. It's all in the family. Okay. Coming to the aspect that you touched on, which are ads. Now, are these ads just organic ads, or do brands pay for ads? Do brands need to pay for ads, given the fact that this is such a sticky medium?
So, as the word says, ads, it's very inorganic. So there are organic ways in which you can reach out to your followers, because whenever you are doing something organically, you can reach to the followers, but not the new audience who's there. So in order to reach the newer customers, newer user base, you need to run the ads, and these are inorganic way of reaching out to those people. You have to pay for that ad. Click to direct ads are same as any other Facebook ads or Instagram ads which we run. It's just that the CTA for them will be taking you to a Instagram DM rather than any other page. But what is very wonderful about it is you can reach the newer user base, newer segment. For example, if you feel you have built a flow wherein people have added some product to their cart, which is on Instagram itself, you can reach out to that audience, run the ads and say that whoever was dropped out, hey, do you want to buy these products? And start that journey again. Or, for example, there's a brand which is in Indonesia. They are a fashion and apparel brand. They were always present in the urban areas, like we always say. But they never had a reach in the rural area. So they ran click to direct ads, very targeted to the different audience, different segment, which is the rural audience. And they got 1.3x increase in their basket size. They never expected before.
Okay.
And that's really great about these ads. You can target the audience, you can define what is your budget, and you can be very creative about your creative so that people interact with you and engage with you.
Okay. Now, and Kripa, as Gupshup, you've always interacted with brands. Now, is click to DM ads a priority from a marketing arsenal perspective, or is it take a thoda paisa bach gaya, let's do this?
No. In fact, click ads are really important for brands, and that's where they are putting a good amount of their money. Because when it comes to organic, right, what we realize, you need to have a great content marketing game, right? Or you need to use the right keywords, you need to work with the right influencers. This is not that easy. And at the end of it, you always just reach out to your followers. If you want a wider audience, like let's say whenever you do a sponsored ad, you can obviously select a few parameters like a geography or the demographics, right? With the help of this, you can reach a wider audience. So now more and more brands are actually leveraging sponsored ads, and they are paying that money because they are getting to see that kind of an ROI. So let's see, on a sponsored ad, the most important thing is a CTA button, right? Great, you spend money, you do a sponsored ad, your right audience looks at it, but then what? How do you get that conversion? Because for marketers, as important as it is to spend, it is to actually show the ROI as well, right? So now with the help of Instagram business messaging, usually the CTA button would just redirect you to the website or would have like a lead form.
Right.
How can you say anything about drop-offs once you're redirected to the website, right? You don't get much visibility, and that is something marketers are really worried about, because at the end of the day, that's what they need to show. But now, with the help of Instagram business messaging, you actually link that CTA directly here. So you get a great visibility in the funnel, in the movement of the leads. And at the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier, right, you can actually put all those data points in CRMs. So this way they get visibility. They get a better ROI or out of it as well. So it's really important for brands these.
So, but how do you measure this return on ad spend? I mean, you invest into an Instagram bot, but how do you measure the return on ad spend?
There are different ways in which you can measure based upon the objective which you have. For example, in case of Starbucks, they ran these ads, they built a automation along with it. What they were targeting were two things. When you see their ads and click on it, you'll be able to see two options. One is you can join the reward points or loyalty program.
This is Starbucks India or worldwide?
This is Starbucks Indonesia.
Okay.
They were able to showcase two options. One is the discount code.
Right.
That was majorly aimed to increase the footfall in their stores. And the second was obviously to join their loyalty program. Then they combined these two things. Whatever amount of money they have put in, they were able to get a 6x return on their ad spend. So based upon what is your objective here, the objective was to increase the footfall. And how they are measuring it, if I am giving an ad coupon over a DM, how many people actually turned up? If suppose I've spent 100 rupees, did I get a 600 rupees sales using those coupon codes which people got it over a Instagram DM? So they were able to do that. So their ROI was 6x on the return on ad spend. Similarly, for Country Bean Coffee, they saw lift in sales, which is 16% lift in their sales. So for them, the ROI measurement of ROI was very different. They wanted to increase their sales. They're saturated all the mediums which they have, and they want to now tap on the new segment which is there on Instagram. So there are different ways you can measure these ROIs. You can simply set up a A/B test as well. Like I'm talking about the marketers lingo, just set up a A/B test and try to differentiate between what happens to the people who actually see your ads and what happens to the people who see other kind of ads, not the click to direct ads. So that can be a very good way of judging the ROI. But that being said, we have seen in the industry different players getting a good ROI when they are running those ads, but it is very different for every brand.
Yeah, depending on what their final objective is. Any questions so far from the audience? Anything, none? Everyone's ready to invest into Instagram ads now. Now, coming back to this whole thing about the Instagram ads, it's nice. I mean, there's a phenomenal ROI in one case. It's 6x. But then over the last over yesterday and the first part of today, I just introduced the Meesho gentleman out there, and he was talking about how to build for the Bharat of 500 million or a billion. Right? It's in terms of how do you build for that mass. Now, the objective of every brand which is sitting out here is to grow, is to scale. And scale will come from getting into a tier 2 or a tier 3, essentially getting into Bharat, getting into the Indic part of it, right? Does Instagram play a role here, or is Instagram just limited to, let's say, the tier 1 cities and the English-speaking, happy with the phone kind of a folk?
One would assume that, it's more of a tier 1 platform, but you'd be surprised.
Okay, let me just stop you there. How many of you believe Instagram is a tier 1 platform and not fit for tier 2 and tier 3?
I can tell you why.
Okay,
not.
You don't believe it's for tier 2, tier 3. Let me have a show of hands again.
All right, I'd like to ask these guys, how many of you go and see the reel? Are you seeing the kind of creators that are there on the reel? You will be surprised to find how many tier 2, tier 3 city creators are so active on Instagram, right? They've become content creators. They actually start getting endorsements from brands. So earlier, even I would say earlier, maybe a couple of years ago, I would always assume, okay, Instagram is a niche channel, right? Of course, tier 1 people, big brands. But now, all of a sudden, because of how popular Instagram has become, especially over the lockdown, right? We had like a rise in content creators, we had a rise in D2C customers, all coming on top just with the help of Instagram as a platform, as a way to sell direct, also as a way to just honestly become these creators. Like right now, if any one of you open your Instagram and try to go to your reels, out of the 10 you see, at least 4 to 5 will be from a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 city, right? So
Okay.
there are a couple of brands, or I would say these smaller shops as well, who maybe don't have a website, right? But let's say it's something niche. Let's say in Jaipur is someone who's making like an artisan type of a bag, right? What reach would they have outside their area otherwise, without a website, without additional money? But now with Instagram as a platform, they can actually sell using Instagram direct message. At the same time, they can create a lot of content which does go viral.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, you go to tier 2, tier 3, and then you have artisanal folks who've got a set of wares that they can actually, for which there's a market all across the country. It's probably difficult for them to set up a website and then, worry about how to manage it and so on and so forth. And another conversation that I've had, I've also learned about how influencers can act as sellers on Instagram, and hence, it kind of makes selling very easy. So I think a big takeaway for all of us, including me, is the fact that Instagram is actually for Bharat as well, and it's not just a tier 1, app. It more or less, kind of is similar to Hypercity when it opened in Bombay, and because of the sheer quality of the retail outlet that Hypercity had and the kind of infrastructure that it had, people were under the impression that it's a premium store, but while it wasn't. There were parts of it which were premium, but then it was as much mass merchandiser store as anyone else, right? So now coming to the last point in terms of what would be your advice to brands who want to go on this route? What would you suggest them to do? 1, 2, 3, and what should they not do at all? And what should they not expect out of Instagram?
I think, like, to be honest, for any brand, the first thing should be like, what is their objective when they're going to Instagram? If their objective is top of the funnel, they should definitely go for discovery and engagement, because that's where people are. That's where they are looking for the brands to speak about themselves, get them explode, and they want to hear from those brands. That's why they are following you guys. So put a more organic and a richer content. That's A. Once you put that content, if I go to a brand and message them, it should not be left unhandled. So either you build an automation, or there should be a person, obviously social media person, who's handling those queries. But honestly, from a personal experience, if I go there and somebody replies to me after 2 minutes, that brand has actually lost me. So it would be good to have at least first message which is automated, so that I know, or a user knows, that somebody is going to answer my query, somebody is going to entertain me here. So that's second, which is engagement. Third is, if you feel the audience here is going to buy your products, it is very, very crucial to give them those options here. With this solution, you can actually integrate your product catalogs, which a lot of D2C retail brands have started doing lately. So if you go see Healthify Me experience, if you go Country Bean experience, Zolo Stays, there are a lot of brands who have integrated their product catalogs on Instagram, because they don't want the users to get turned to wait and go to their website for making this conversion. The next step, or final step, which the brands have started taking, is also giving them an option to add to cart there itself and make a payment. So end-to-end commerce is what we are expecting the brands to go and do on Instagram, because that's the way you can tap this potential audience which is there on Instagram.
Right.
Apart from that, there is a very much pull in the market, which we don't even have to speak. There are customers who are looking for support. So customer support has been an organic pull in the market, where brands are just, the day we launched, somehow the brands came to know, and all of them started integrating it for customer support experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a necessity there, like that's the P0 we should do. But apart from that, it is important to build that end-to-end experience. One thing which you should not do at all is don't get blocked. Uh, that's a salt, basically. You don't even realize that till the time you get blocked. Don't get blocked on Instagram. There are certain policies which in favor of the privacy of the users, which mentions that you should not reach out to them apart from the policies which are mentioned. For example, if I have come to you for a Diwali season last year, you are not allowed to talk to me Diwali season this year. There should be some communication which has been happening. If you do that, the brand becomes blocked. And even if you run the click-to-direct ads, you will not be able to respond to those ads. So stop running those ads if you get blocked. So this is what you should definitely not do and expect from IG.
No, I think that's very incisive, because now the way I look at Instagram is it's a full stack omni-channel property for a brand to explore, and a lot of what you do, which you indicated towards the end of your statement, was in terms of respecting data privacy rules. I was speaking to the lady from the Bureau of Indian Standards, and I think this is probably a good area to look into in terms of can we lay out a certain set of standards that brands can follow. I think time's up for us, Kripa and Ekta. It's been wonderful chatting with you on about Instagram and about its importance in the full journey of customer engagement. If there's any question, I'll just take one question, and else we'll say goodbye. No? I think this has been the most...
I think we've sold the solution to everyone here.
Okay.
They don't have any questions.
So Kripa represents Gupshup, so you know who's going to come after you. Okay? No, jokes apart. Thank you so much, Ekta and Kripa.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
so much,
us.
everyone.
Absolutely a pleasure talking to you.